Coming up, we are still radioactive. Join us as we dissect the final episodes of Fallout Season 2. Stay tuned.
So this is Vegas, huh? I'd ask why my dad ran into a den of monsters, but he'd probably just tell me to shut the fudge up.
Welcome to the Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. Before we get started, do not forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and hit that bell. That way you know when these videos are dropping. Tex, how you doing today, buddy?
Oh man, howdy everybody, howdy Arturo. I'm glad to finally be jumping back into Fallout Season 2. The last time we talked about it here at the Morgue were the first 5 episodes of Season 2 that gave us a great glimpse at what was going on in the season. And thankfully, we were far into it enough to where we could see where the main plot of the story was going to be for this season. And now that we're coming back now we're covering the final few episodes, and now that it's over, we can see it in a package. I will say just off the bat, it has been greenlit for season 3, which is great. It was greenlit for season 3 before season 2 premiered, which was already like a good sign. Yeah, but it's Prime. So the problem with Prime Video is that yes, they give us good shows, but they also do like to renew their shows quite a bit. So it was tough. Like it's tough. It's like, oh, okay, is this one of those situations where it warranted a renewal? Or is it a situation where they were like, oh, they liked what they saw and gave us a new season? But thankfully, I can say without a doubt that, yeah, now that everything's said and done, great season of television. Yeah. I had a great time. Like, I think before even diving into it further, please go check out our conversation about the first 5 episodes that we've had previously. And I think this is all to say leading into this, like, I liked it a bit. What do you think, Arturo?
Yeah, dude, you're absolutely right. You hit it right on the head. It is an awesome season of TV.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find that these days where everything is so mumbled and rushed and the quality isn't really there. We've spoken about some shows here on the Morgue about TV shows that don't have that quality that you expect it to have from certain platforms. But this one, man, I am very, very happy with this season of Fallout. We were very happy with the first season of Fallout and very impressed and surprised of how that all turned out. And the execution of that was just absolutely awesome. We had no clue what to expect. We spoke here on the Morgue how both of us aren't really big fans of the game. We know of it, but we've never really gone through and played it. And this show has definitely exceeded both of our expectations. And season 2, man, I am so happy that the writing got tighter, the dialogue got better, the characters are more pronounced. Both all three, the Ghoul, Maximus, and Lucy, they all know exactly what they need to do and what their characters need to accomplish. And the actors behind these characters do a great job of making sure that these characters now are fully fleshed out in this crazy wasteland of a world. And especially Maximus, we spoke about that on the previous episode of Fallout, where we spoke about the first 5 episodes, how Maximus this time around got a lot more to do. And his character is just a lot more solidified in terms of his dynamics and how he is just represented on screen. Lucy is still Lucy, and the Ghoul now gets the most screen time out of anyone in this series. Goggins, Cooper Howard, and then the Ghoul, his ghoulish character, which I'm still waiting to find out how that happens. Hopefully, season 3 will tell us. But
that's the thing, right?
Goggins like, is everywhere. He takes up the entire series, and for good reason.
Yeah, that's the thing. They really are holding that back for that has to be something big that they're planning to like show us that. And that's the thing where like we, with like characters like Thaddeus, right? Like we see how quickly people turn into ghouls, right? And that's the thing. It's like eventually we're going to need to see that happen to Cooper, and we're going to need to see that happen. And Thaddeus is funny too, because we're seeing him turn into a ghoul, but then like he's becoming like a different kind of ghoul, right? Like there was a joke about it, like his arm fell off and he had like his extra mouth on his shoulder, and and Cooper
Yeah, that
didn't
was
really
great.
know how to like react to that. So it's clear that like something weird is going
He's
on.
definitely like a mutant ghoul or something like that.
Yeah, like except that, and I'm pretty sure, like, if I was a Fallout game fan, like, I'm pretty sure I could point at that and be like, "Oh, he's turned into the X, Y, and Z," right? And I think that's the thing too. Like, part of this, like, the cool part about this world is that, like, I don't know anything about Fallout, just like Arturo said, but like, I've never felt like I was out of the loop on anything, you
Great.
know? Like, the same thing this show makes sure to, like, clearly define, like, its world and everything, especially when you get to the Robert House stuff, who, you know, you see in the first half of the season, they're introducing him. He's, you know, Cooper sent to kill him. They have this whole conversation where House clearly knows something is going on, that, you know, like, he knows, so, like, he knows about the nukes, but then it's like, oh, is he the one in charge of the nuke?
Mhm.
Is he the one in this? There's a lot of questions about that, but then it's very clearly revealed, you know, full spoilers, all that stuff, et cetera, for these final episodes. Once again, if you haven't seen any of these final episodes, you haven't seen any of Fallout, please check out our first conversation first to get a better first impressions without getting into all the nitty gritty. But here, yeah, he wasn't like, he like doesn't seem to be behind the nukes themselves, but he was planning to do something post nuke, because there's another organization out there called the Enclave. And so Robert House stored his mind on like this super computer, but it's also like, it's wild because it's like retro futuristic too,
Yeah.
because it's like it's fitting of the time, right? But it's like he's there, and it's so funny seeing that, because it's like, you know, that's going to play into Lucy and Maximus's story in the next season, because they don't know House, they don't know Cooper's connection with it, all that stuff. But there's this whole Enclave thing, and then you have this stuff with the Legion that's happening, and then you have the stuff with the Brotherhood. But I never once felt like it was all like too much. I never felt encumbered by it. I never felt like, because the show makes sure to explain all this stuff. The show
Yes.
lays this all out. It never feels like a, oh, it's like, oh, if you played the game, you'd get it. You know, they
Yeah, it's
like,
never overwhelming, in
yeah,
terms of information and grasping the environment or what's
exactly.
going on. I think the show since season 1, if you guys want, go back to our archives and check out our review for season 1 of Fallout, and you'll see that from the beginning, from the very onset, from episode 1, they do a great job of breaking everything down very simplistic and rudimentary for everyone to understand, because
Yeah,
honestly, like, I've tried playing the game, like, once, and I got overwhelmed with everything that I had to do to even walk around.
right.
So, I'm very happy that they kept up with explaining everything very concise, but very simply as well, in order to continue the narrative pacing. Because this show, the episodes are hefty and they're bulky, but there's something always going on. The story is consistently progressing forward, and it's giving you these awesome flashbacks. Unlike, you know, Strangers Chapter 3, where the flashbacks did nothing, the flashbacks in this show actually add a lot to the information, to the development, the lore, and the dynamics of the characters. That's what real flashbacks need to do. And Goggins, man, is killing it in all these flashbacks. Like I
Yeah.
mentioned, Goggins is the star of this season. Ella Purnell took a back seat, unfortunately, but fortunately as well for the show, because the story of the ghoul of Cooper Howard and Robert House and Cooper and his wife and his family, it's just so engaging and interesting, on top of what you have with the wasteland stuff that's already interesting, the vault stuff and the stuff with Lucy, that's already interesting. But then I didn't expect to be this engaged with this, like, Cooper Howard
with this
story that we're
with
getting.
the setup, right? And
Correct. Mhm,
this is all the thing. Like, this is all like just setup, which is
mhm.
the wild part, right? Where it's like it's all set up to show us how the bombs went off. Like, in the, because we eventually, like Arturo said, much like how we have to eventually see him turn into this ghoul, we have to see back. Remember that first episode that grabs you
Mhm.
so immediately, with him and his daughter like running away from the bombs, right? And it's like, we kind of need to see how we get to that point. And
Yes.
eventually we're going to get there. Eventually it's going to close the loop. And this is all like, it's so intriguing that these flashbacks are all just setting us up for the bombs. And on top of that, like Arturo said, it's not the only thing happening. This is all just to give us background on the world that's already very active with like tons of characters and tons of things going on. And like Arturo said, the benefit of this show and a smart thing that this team embarked on at the beginning was to have three main characters each doing their own thing and each kind of exploring different aspects of the world, so that in these final episodes when they actually cross paths, right, like you get Maximus crossing paths with the Ghoul, you're like, oh wow, like that really hasn't happened outside of like season one. And then then you get Maximus and Lucy having a cool reunion and you're like, oh wow, that's awesome. And then it's those moments that make you realize that all three of them haven't been on the same thing since like they haven't. I don't think all three of them have yet to be, right? Like I don't think they've been in the same story, right?
Correct. Ever since the last episode of season 1, that was the last time we saw them all together. And Tex brings up a great point. You have three very interesting, very different characters that come from like completely different walks of life. You have Lucy, who's a vaultee. You have the Ghoul, who's Cooper Howard, who's 200 years old and was alive before the bombs even dropped. And then you have Maximus, who was put into a refrigerator by his father to save his life before a bomb goes off. So these characters, we learn all about these characters in many different ways throughout the entire series. And then we get an awesome payoff when they all come together and these stories just all come together. Because what's awesome is that they all have their different narratives, but ultimately it's the same story at the end of the day. It's all adding to the same narrative. The same overall picture. And I love it. I think it's super well written in that way. And that's why we're always so engaged with these episodes. I flew by the last 2 episodes like it was nothing, man. And like we sat through shorter movies that felt like 4 hours, man. And like I flew through this entire season, and I'm very glad that you said that it was already greenlit for season 3, because I cannot wait, man. Now we have, as you said, we have a whole war that's going to start, right? With the Legion, with Macaulay Culkin, which, by the way, I don't.
I mean, shout outs to Macaulay Culkin.
Shout outs to him, but like his voice, man, was he's not very Kaiserish.
That's
Kaiser's
the thing.
Palace.
Like that's the thing. Like that's very Fallout of Fallout, right? It's very kooky in that way, where it's
that's
like
the fan service too, honestly, as well. So
where it's like, that's why you had people like Kumail Nanjiani in it already, where it's like, he's, yes, he's buff and stuff now, but he's still like a goofy guy.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like
Natasha Henstridge pop up for like a quick 2 minutes, dude. And I think in the penultimate episode where we learn about Stephanie, I think that's her name, right? The overseer. And which is great because we find out she's Canadian, and but you see,
and then that's a funny thing too.
Side story, right?
That's a whole other, like, I can't wait to see what that flashback is all about, right? Because you're like, because she got into the vault by, like through all these nefarious means.
By nefarious means, yep, exactly.
But she was also a Canadian, and these Canadians were hunted down, which is also a very interesting part of the story, because as we've heard about this world thus far, there's like the war over Alaska and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, Canada's involved in all this stuff. So this is all super. It's just it's cool because it's building this world.
I cannot imagine
this world,
this game being this fun though, Tex.
Yeah,
I can't imagine Fallout being this fun.
That's the thing. Like I don't know, for like I've tried playing it. I'm not a first person shooter person on top of that. Like, so like it's an open world, like survival first person kind of shooter thing. I think it's one of those games where, well, there are like radioactive areas that like harm you, but I don't know if it's to the extent of like, if it's also one of those games where it's like your character will feel hungry and stuff. I don't like that personally. I'm not into that in my games.
Video game character shouldn't feel hunger, okay?
Yeah, like if I'm playing a game, I don't want to manage. I'm not a micromanager, right? Like I'm not like, I don't like those pure survival, and that's what Fallout is. Like, and on top of that, this world is just kind of window dressing to whatever you're going to do in the thing. But having someone direct your hand through everything and to see every little aspect of the world is so interesting, because we still have the vault stuff. that's unfolding. It not only Vault of the present day, but Vault of the past. Like we're starting to see whatever's going on with Norm and what plans were for Vault 33.
Mhm.
We saw Hank McLean. There's a whole thing with Kyle MacLachlan, who's like he was doing those experiments that House was doing, but he figured out how to like fully do the brain chip, and like his whole plan was to like turn everyone into like mindless slaves. But the thing is, for what and for whom? Right? Because that's the thing. Like, it's also
Mhm.
the Enclave is teased as like they're another shadow organization that Hank
Yeah.
McLean probably worked for, and like he wiped his memory to like there's this
Yeah,
whole,
that was a sad
it's super sad. Yeah,
moment
like
there between him and Lucy there at the end of episode 8, where Lucy finally apprehends her father because she's out for justice the entire season and finally gets it. And then Hank, as Tex was saying, has a whole other secret agenda that we have no idea about. But
yeah,
he's saying that he already released his research and development out there in the world in the wasteland. So there are other devices that have been upgraded and perfected out there, and they're so small you can't even see them. So that's like, I was like, holy crap, that's gonna create like a whole other conflict that's gonna be so awesome to be exposed to in season 3. But yeah, like that moment between Lucy and her father, the final moments that they have together, very sad, very emotional beats that were executed perfectly, I think, especially after the whole craziness of that episode. But that just goes to show how the showrunners are very focused on the storytelling here, where they're able to tell you this crazy story between, Maximus fighting a death claw, and then go to this amazing emotional beat at the end of the show with Lucy and her father.
right.
And again, that's big kudos and big comeuppance to the showrunners here. I think Amazon, we've spoken about them in the past about being smart with their TV shows. Yes, they have some misses, but they have a handful of hits in the recent years. And this one is included in that list along with Invincible that we spoke about it on one of our previous shows. Go check that out. And there's The Boys season 6 that's coming out in April. Cape Crusader. Amazon is just on fire right now with their TV
Yeah,
series. So Netflix better up their game because their series game is like not even that great in comparison. But this goes to show you that there is content out there that is worth watching for and worth paying for, folks. Amazon is on fire right now, and I cannot wait to see what happens in season 3. Tex, again, I have no idea about this world. Do you have any idea where this is going? Because I'm at a loss.
yeah,
Besides a whole war, I'm at a
yeah,
loss.
like yeah, before we fully wrap up things like how we do at the morgue, it's like like leading into the finale, right? Or leading into season 3, we have the Legion coming with Macaulay Culkin, which we
Mhm.
kind of joked about, but it's also like that's a thing that's Lucy and Maximus are gonna have to
It
deal
is a
with.
thing, yo, and dude, like way bigger numbers than I expected when they
Yeah,
showed the
I
shot.
thought it was just that one camp,
Yeah,
right? Like,
because it
yeah,
killed. Yes, they had a civil war, which I thought just had that little group left.
yes, and on top of that, you have the New California Republic who showed up.
Mhm.
Once again, that was another thing where it's like, oh, I thought it was just those two soldiers,
Yep.
and it turns out no, there actually was an entire group still around. So there's not only that, that war is happening in New Vegas. You have Robert House, who's going to interact with Lucy and Maximus in some way with that through
Mhm.
that computer, and they don't know him, so that's probably going to be a whole thing.
Don't
You
forget about
have
the Brotherhood too.
yes, you have the Brotherhood who teased your post-credit scene.
Yes.
Quintus is in full civil war with the other
I
rest
was
of the
just gonna bring
Brotherhood.
that up. He's in
He's
I'm Quintus the Destroyer.
yeah,
I
he's
love it.
got last tease were like plans for like a new mech suit, which I'm pretty sure is probably in the games, right?
Yeah,
Like this
some
is
Wolf Prime Alpha suit or something like that. If you know what that is, just
yeah,
comment below, folks, because we have no idea.
yeah, and on top of that, final thing is the ghoul. He found out, in search of his family. That's the whole thing. His family was not in the vault that they were supposed to be in, but instead there is a letter from his wife that says, Colorado is a good idea. So now he alone is going to Colorado. So I don't know if Colorado's, maybe that's another game setting, right? Maybe that's like a Fallout because this one there's a game called Fallout New Vegas,
Oh,
and I assume that's where this setting was coming from, right? This setting and this idea. And I remember the cover for Fallout New Vegas has a guy who's dressed up exactly like the sniper from New California Republic. So this is
yes.
why that sniper gets like such a big moment.
That's why it
That's
looks familiar. Okay.
yeah, it's the cover for that game. So if you've seen that suit somewhere, it's because of that. And I think, so whatever Colorado is, it's probably one of the games. And
Yo,
so
but Tex, a question though, because again, this is why this show is so interesting because there's so many questions. Yes, they've given us a lot of answers, but I still have so many questions, Tex.
and
Like,
that's
if the wife
exactly it. Like
and the
what
daughter weren't in the cryo, how old
y-
are they now? When did
yeah,
they get out of cryo? Like,
very good point. Yeah, because he's been alive for 200 years, right? So like when did she leave that note? Did she leave that note in time for him to come find her? And it's very interesting. Like, are we, and that's the thing, like, is the ghoul going to be separated for season 3? Like, are Lucy and Maximus eventually going to go that way? Probably, because it's a good story, and these stories, like, for as much as everything gets separated, they do find a way to get back together at the
mhm.
end. So like eventually, and that's the thing, like this is all leading us to whatever's going on in season 3. So Arturo, let's finally wrap up this baby, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys know how we do it here at the morgue. There is stay away from it, meaning don't even bother with this thing. There is wait for it, meaning you can wait to see this on any streamer in the comfort of your own home. And lastly, there is pay for it, meaning go buy a ticket ASAP or pay for the trial or get somebody's password and watch this thing today. And I'm going to leave the pay for it right there because this is what the show is, an absolute pay for it. Folks, I know Prime is a little on the pricey side, but if you have some friends or family members that can put you under their, their family profile, it's definitely worth it because like I said before, Amazon is just killing it. And this is just the beginning of the year for Amazon. And it started with Fallout. It's just going to get better with The Boys and all the other shows we spoke about. And this is a true pay for it because it's just such a great show. And each episode is about 50 to 55 minutes long. You get your money's
they're
worth. You can
they're
sit
hefty
there.
episodes.
Yes,
Yeah,
you can sit
they
there
are.
and just take in all this stuff and watch it once a week. You don't
It
have to
was
binge it because there's so much, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a weekly show. Like we reviewed on the morgue here. Please go check out that video or the podcast for Wonder Man on Disney Plus. And one of the things we said there was that, oh, they dropped it all at once.
Mhm.
It's a binge. Was this a good idea? And for that show, a binge was the right format. But
Yes.
for a show like Fallout, you could watch it weekly. They knew that this was going to be a weekly one with like something to keep you coming back every
But
week.
then you know what, Tex? We flew by the first 5 episodes,
And
right?
that's also part of it too. Like if you're just jumping into season 2, or yeah, you haven't seen any of it, you wait until the season's over to watch it, like just do it. Like it's perfect. Like that is also, well, I'll also say pay for it. Prime, there's a lot of complicated things about Prime where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, uh, stuff that's way over our heads. But for our purposes here of watching Fallout, yeah, check it out. If you haven't seen
Yes.
season 1, please check out season 1. Like this is kind of like, get on the train already. Like the train has left the station. Please get on that train before, like, I don't know, it leaves you behind. Like it's a cool show,
Choo
man.
choo.
And it's tough because we've seen video game adaptations, right? We've seen like Last of Us, which had like a great first season. And then you see season 2, which I don't even think we talked about here at the morgue, but it's stuff like that where it's like,
Yeah.
oh God, what a shame, right? But then you see Fallout season 2 and you're like, this is what we want. This
Yeah.
is
That
television.
is what you should do with a video game franchise, especially one that's so full
Oh,
of detail and stuff, man.
yeah, and like Twisted Metal, that was another one we didn't get to check.
Yes.
Like we didn't get to talk
Yes.
about that here too. But like another quick aside, it's another great season 2 of a TV show that for a video game. Like I think there's something to be said about not being afraid of doing goofy stuff and being like being video gamey, right?
Yeah,
Like there's
because
nothing
that's
wrong with
what you
that.
are. You're a video game TV show. You are a
Yeah.
video game, okay? So stick to that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's
and
nothing wrong with it.
no, and you can sprinkle in your fan service in there. You can sprinkle in your serious tones in there, but at the end of the day, Fallout knows exactly what it's doing with its source material, right? It's giving
Yeah,
you tidbits of this detailed world bit by bit. It's giving the fan service out to whoever knows about the world,
very
and
true.
it's giving audiences who don't know about the world a great freaking show. So go get a trial of Amazon Prime or somebody's password and watch this show as soon as you can because it's fantastic and it's slated for season 3. So now's the time to start catching up. Buddies, thank you so much for listening. This has been The Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. A big shout out goes to Delvirus for all the artwork you've seen throughout the years, and a big shout out goes to you guys for listening and for watching. We have all of these episodes anywhere you get your podcast and all these episodes on YouTube. Go like, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell. That way you know when these videos are dropping. And always remember, folks, that it is a scary world out there, but we are here to walk you through it.